Hi, welcome back to Common Core 2.2 Part B. But first, a little lesson on grenade safety when you're doing your military training. Okay. Now, if you remember, we were trying to set up a story problem here. Now, I know you're like, story problem, but no, it's not that bad. If you remember, we'll kind of go back to what we're doing. On one day in Fairfield, Montana, the temperature dropped 84 degrees Fahrenheit from noon to midnight. In other words, from noon to midnight, it dropped 84 degrees. Now, if the temperature at midnight was negative 21, what was the temperature at noon? Well, remember, we have to set up three things. What the original temperature was, what happened, and what's the new temperature. Well, you always have to know two out of the three. Well, I don't know the original temperature, and that's what we're trying to solve for. I do know that it dropped 84 degrees, so there's an 84 degree drop. And now it's negative 21 degrees Fahrenheit, which is pretty cold. So somewhere through the midday to midnight, it dropped 84 degrees, and now it's at negative 21. Well, original temperature, we don't know. What happened, it dropped 84 degrees, and now it's negative 21. Now it's important to put the setup as negative 84 because you're subtracting 84 degrees. Do put a negative 21 because that's the actual negative temperature right now. So x minus 84 equals negative 21. Well, now we can do something about it. If you remember, instead of minus 84, we're going to add 84. Add 84 to one side, add 84 to the other. And you get 63. So apparently it was 63 degrees at noon, and through some crazy event, it dropped 84 degrees, and then it was negative 21. Now you try. Go ahead. Same thing. Fairfield, Montana, we're going to say it dropped 43 degrees, and it became negative 14. Please try to find what the temperature used to be. Go ahead. Well, if we set it up, we have x minus 43 equals negative 14. Add 43 to both sides, and you get 29. Skills practice time. Same idea. Fairfield, Montana, up and down, up and down. Temperature dropped 35 degrees from noon to midnight, and now is at negative 23. Please find me what it was prior. And the other one, the temperature rose 35 degrees from noon to midnight, and then it was 54 degrees. Try to solve that. Now, a little hint. It says rose 35, put x plus 35. So go ahead and try these two at this time. Let's see what you can do. For the first one, you add 35 to both sides, and you get 12. This one rose 35 degrees, so plus 35. Instead of plus 35, we're going to minus 35 to both sides. So we're going to say that it was 19 degrees at noon and went up to 54 degrees at midnight, which would be almost impossible. But that's what we have. Now here's the new. Before planting the tree, Manuel digs a hole with a depth 18 inches below ground level. Once planted, the top of the tree is 54 inches above ground. Write and solve an equation to find the height of the tree Manuel planted. Now, this is difficult. I need to show you a visual. So here's the visualize. You have an 18-foot hole, 18-inch hole. And we have a tree goes in it, and the tree, once dropped in, is 54 inches above the ground. So I want to know how big the tree was. Now what I'm saying is, after the tree goes in the hole, it's 54 inches. So what we're going to do is you have a hole that's 18 inches, and after you're all done, you're still at 54 inches tall. Now why do you care? Depends on how you're landscaping. You want trees to be a certain height. We just can't go chop the tops off trees, or it ain't going to look right. So you have to figure out how big your tree is and how deep the hole is, and what the difference is going to be once you plant it. So you have a good idea. Well, I have old tree height minus the hole size, and gives me new tree height. There's, by the way, more than one way to solve this. It's true. You could also, well, we'll just do it this way. The old tree height, I don't know. I do know that the hole size is 18 inches, and I know the new tree height was 54. Therefore, instead of minus 18, I'm going to add 18. Add 18 to one side, add 18 to the other. So if you're a landscaper and you want to have a 54-inch clearance, you're going to want a 72-inch tall tree that you're buying from the nursery. And why you'd want to do that, again, if you're a landscaper, let's say you're putting little trees up like right under windows for for looks, or if you're at a golf course or at a mall and you want to have a certain type of shrubbery, certain size, you say, okay, well I want it to be about this tall, as people are walking down the sidewalk or whatever, and you want to have these deep holes, then you're going to have to figure out what's what. You try. Same idea. Manuel keeps on digging. So now he has 12-inch below ground level, and he wants to be 72 inches above the ground. Go ahead this time. Try to solve. And x minus 12 equals 72. Add 12 to both sides, excuse me. You get 84. Skills practice time. We're going to draw 6 inches below ground level, and we're going to be 14 inches above the ground, so itty-bitty plants. Go ahead and figure out how big the tree has to be. Go ahead this time. Pause. Let's see how you did. Oh, and the other one. What if he's digging a hole 9 inches and he wants it to be 93 inches above the ground? Go ahead and try that one. Let's see how you did. For the first one, we add 6 to both sides, so we need a 72-inch tree. We're 6 foot tall. Second one, after you add 9 to both sides, you need 102. And that does it. We are done with this section. Thanks again. Bye. And regardless of what continent you're on, do not give a wild animal an automatic weapon.
Hey, no,